When Victor Matfield talks about Rugby World Cups, his words carry weight. A two-time world champion and one of the greatest locks to ever play the game, the Springboks legend understands exactly what it takes to lift the Webb Ellis Cup. And in his view, the race for the 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia is already narrowing. According to Matfield, only 3 nations can realistically win it: South African National Rugby Union Team, New Zealand National Rugby Union Team, and France National Rugby Union Team. Everyone else, he believes, is a step behind. 3 teams in a different class. Speaking on the Rivals podcast following the appointment of Dave Rennie as the new All Blacks head coach, Matfield laid out his prediction bluntly. "I think there's only 3 teams that can win the next World Cup: South Africa, New Zealand, or France," he said. "Those 3 teams will be in a different class." It's a bold statement, especially with traditional powers like England and Ireland still prominent in the global game. But Matfield's reasoning is rooted in depth, consistency, and proven ability to peak at the right time. "These 3 can beat each other on any day," he added. "The All Blacks will always be there." That final line speaks volumes. Regardless of coaching changes, tactical debates, or internal politics, New Zealand remained part of rugby's elite triangle, the Robertson era. Results versus reality. Rennie's appointment comes after the dismissal of Scott Robertson, who left the role despite compiling a 74% win rate, superior to that of his predecessor Ian Foster. That on paper, Robertson's numbers were strong. But international rugby is rarely judged on statistics alone. Criticism mounted over the All Blacks' performances, with accusations that they lacked fluency and authority against top-tier opposition. Reports suggested players did not strongly advocate for Robertson during the end-of-season review process, which may have influenced the decision by New Zealand Rugby to move on. Matfield admitted sympathy for Robertson. "I still feel for Scott Robertson," he said. "He's probably the best provincial or club coach ever to come out of New Zealand. It's a pity he couldn't pull things together with the All Blacks." That distinction between club dominance and test success lies at the heart of the debate. That Robertson's record with the Crusaders was extraordinary, but translating franchise culture into a national team environment proved far more complex. That why Rennie might have the edge for Matfield. Rennie's background could offer an advantage precisely because he has been outside the New Zealand system for nearly a decade. "I think it's very difficult to go from being a current provincial or franchise coach into that role as All Blacks coach," he explained. The challenge, he believes, lies in cultural transition. Robertson built an immensely successful Crusaders environment. But when stepping into the All Blacks job, he faced a squad drawn from multiple franchises, each with distinct identities and internal dynamics. He had such a strong Crusaders culture that worked for him, Matfield noted. But it needed to be an All Blacks culture. It can't be a Crusaders culture where all the other guys need to adapt. That subtle difference may have been pivotal. Rennie, by contrast, has coached abroad in Scotland, Australia, and Japan. He returns without strong current ties to any single New Zealand franchise. With Dave Rennie, he's been away a little bit, so he comes in starting something new. Matfield said, "This is the All Blacks culture I want. It's not coming from the Crusaders or the Highlanders or the Hurricanes or the Blues." That neutrality could help unify the squad more quickly, a vital factor given the condensed World Cup cycle, the global landscape. Who's missing? Matfield's prediction notably excludes several strong contenders. England recently strung together a 12-match winning streak before stumbling in the Six Nations. Ireland have consistently ranked among the world's best over the past few years. Argentina continue to evolve, and Australia will host the 2027 tournament. Historically, a significant advantage. Yet Matfield sees a gap between those nations and his chosen trio. The Springboks bring unmatched physical depth and proven World Cup pedigree. France combine explosive athleticism with tactical innovation and homegrown talent pipelines that remain robust even after hosting the 2023 tournament. And New Zealand, despite turbulence, retain unmatched rugby heritage and structural consistency. From Matfield's perspective, those factors separate them from the chasing pack. The All Blacks' path back to the summit for Rennie, being named among the favorites, is both flattering and demanding. New Zealand's expectation is not simply to compete, it is to win. The All Blacks enter this cycle, seeking redemption after falling short in previous tournaments and ceding psychological ground to South Africa. The Springboks' tactical clarity under Rassie Erasmus has set a benchmark for physical intensity and squad depth. Rennie must quickly establish a cohesive All Blacks culture, clear tactical identity, leadership stability, depth in key positions unlike a traditional four-year cycle. He has limited time to refine combinations before 2027 that Matfield believes his international exposure may help. Rennie has navigated adversity with the Wallabies, experienced different rugby ecosystems, and worked under immense scrutiny. That broader lens may allow him to build something fresh rather than replicate existing provincial models. That culture over comfort. One of Matfield's most compelling insights concerned cultural neutrality. In Test rugby, no franchise allegiance can dominate. Players must feel ownership regardless of their Super Rugby background. That Rennie's distance from current domestic politics might allow him to shape a culture rooted purely in national identity. That approach echoes successful international regimes elsewhere, where clear philosophical resets often precede title runs. Can the trio be challenged? While Matfield sees a three-team race, World Cups have a habit of delivering surprises. Momentum shifts. Injuries reshape squads. Tactical innovations emerge. The 2027 tournament in Australia will bring its own variables: climate, travel, pressure, and crowd dynamics. But if current trajectories hold, Matfield's assessment is grounded in recent evidence. South Africa have mastered tournament rugby. France possède générationnel talent. And New Zealand, even in transitional phases, rarely drift far from contention. Final thought. A familiar triangle rugby's power balance often rotates, but certain nations consistently return to the summit. Matfield's forecast reinforces a familiar triangle at the top of the sport. For Rennie, inclusion in that elite bracket is validation, but also warning. Expectations will be unforgiving. Anything less than genuine title contention will be viewed as failure. The 2027 Rugby World Cup may still be years away, but narratives are already forming. If Matfield is right, the road to the Webb Ellis Cup will once again run through Pretoria, Paris, and Auckland, and only one of those giants will emerge standing. The question now is whether Rennie can ensure New Zealand are not just present, but dominant when the decisive moments arrive.